So welcome to Module 6, Maximizing Me, the Power of Networking. And we'll go straight in. What are the tips that we need to, that we need for our networking? Networking tips. Meeting for the first time. So you're meeting someone for the first time. What are the tips and the tricks? What do we need to do? First and foremost, we need to be friendly, greet and introduce yourself the way you would like to be addressed. Now, this is a classic. So you have situations where somebody says, my name is Shaya Molugome, and you look at me and you feel, oh, this woman must be married and she's probably a very mature person. Let me call her Madame. And you come and say, oh, Madame Shaya. And I say, what is that? Who are you calling Madame? Am I your mother? What is the meaning of that? My name is Shayo. Maybe I'm divorced and I'm looking for a life partner and you're busy calling me Madame. You have spoiled my show. So sometimes you get off on the wrong foot if you don't address the person correctly. So introduce yourself in the way you would like to be addressed and try to find out from the other person how the other person would like to be addressed to avoid those, misunderstandings at the beginning of the relationship. People are different. Not everybody wants to be called Mrs. Not everyone wants to be called Madam. Not everybody wants to be called Mr. People have different preferences. So you need to understand that so that you can get off on the right foot. And if you're in doubt, you can ask. So somebody I introduce myself as Shayo. You can ask, do you mind if I call you Shayo? And I will tell you, yes, you can call me Shayo. Or I might say, no, Madame Shayo might be better. Or to call me Lady Shayo. Simple as that. So if you're not sure how you should address the other person, you can ask. And so strike up a conversation on a general non-sensitive topic, like the weather, the function, or bad traffic. Those are three classics. You can't go wrong with those three. The weather is extremely hot today. Even in the air conditioning, we are still sweating. Good topic. It's not going to step on anybody's toes. Seek for topics of common interest. Don't avoid topics that would be controversial and that would lead to heated arguments. So don't go there. Don't start with religion. Don't start with politics. Oh, APC is not doing well and PDP is, they are jokers. Don't go there. Over time, yes, you can have these discussions, but to be on the safe side, for the first time you're meeting, try to keep it simple. And don't talk about private matters. Not everyone might share your opinion. Learn to be a good listener. Don't just do all the talking. So when you meet someone for the first time, don't just yak, and go on and yak. Learn to be a good listener. Hear what the other person has to say as well. Remember to exchange your business cards or contact details. Now, your business cards, get a business card holder. Don't put your business card in your pocket, in your handbag, where your lipstick and your powder is. And then when you want to bring out your card is dirty, squeezed, the corners are bent. It's just tacky. Get a nice business card holder. Be very professional. And for ladies, please, when you put your business card in your handbags, put it in a particular section. The worst thing that you can do is you're talking to a gentleman or a fellow woman and they say, can I have your business card? And then you're now fishing for the card inside your bag. You're emptying the bag. You're looking in different corners. Where is that card? Where did I put it? No. It's not professional. Have a card holder and have a special place in your handbag where you keep the cards at the side pocket, a specific side. So when you need to go for it, you go straight to that place, bring out your card holder and bring out a neat, clean card. The same thing for the gents. If you're wearing a suit, have a particular pocket where you keep your card, probably your inner pocket. Don't start, checking all your pockets around your body. Where's my card? Where's my card? No. Have a particular place where you keep your card. And don't try to meet too many people at the same time. You won't remember who they are or any major detail about them, and neither will they remember much about you. So you go to a meeting, a seminar, and you move around the room. Remember earlier we said you need to move around the room. Yes, move around the room and have engaging conversations. So you move around the room and you now collect 10 business cards. So you're rushing around the room, you've collected 10 business cards. You get home. You remember that you met a lady that had a yellow dress, but you can't remember which of the cards belonged to her. You've also met a gentleman that had a navy blue suit. You can't remember his name. Was it the man? I met a Jack. Was Jack the guy with the navy blue suit, or was it the guy that wore a brown suit? You're confused. So you're confused about what to discuss with which person. And so you're having difficulty placing the faces with all the cards that you collected that day. It doesn't make much sense. And at the same time, because you went around so quickly and collected so many cards, the other people that you met to probably would have the same problem. And they're like, oh, somebody gave me his card. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his face. And they'll just throw your card somewhere. And you don't want that. You want to be able to you want to be in the mind of that person that you met. So it's better that you do this more strategically. Rather, you should meet a few people and get to know at least 3 major things about them. So just meet 3 or 4 people and get to know 3 or 4 major things about them. So find out that, oh, that lady that wore a yellow dress, her name is Jacqueline Peters, and she lives in Surulere and she works with Zenith Bank, branches on the island. Fantastic. You know who she is. You've met her. She works at Zenith Bank. You know 1 or 2, 3 things about her. So that when you see her or contact her next time, you can mention some of the things that you discussed. So you're giving her a follow-up call and you say, oh, hello, Jacqueline. We met at XYZ event. How is your branch? Are you still in the island branch? You know, that kind of thing. It makes much more sense. Are you still on the island, or have you changed your branch? You know, that kind of thing. It makes more sense. Now, this is an epic picture. I love this picture so much. It's a picture of Coretta Scott King and Winnie Mandela when they met physically. And, you know, these are 2 powerful women who are married to 2 powerful men fighting for the freedom of the Black man. So that's an epic picture. And what are we saying here? We are saying there's a difference between meeting and connecting. So these women not only met, they also connected. We should always seek to connect. So how do we strike up a conversation with a stranger? First, we need to be bold but friendly. We need to be open. Be ready to listen more than talk. So yes, you need to talk, but also listen. Be open to what the other person has to say. And like I said, talk about things of common interest. Don't talk about sensitive topics, like telling the woman how fat she is, she needs to lose weight. Don't go there. There are some things you should not just say at all. Listen. Now, so how do you participate in a discussion on a topic you don't understand? That's a good one. So you're at a dinner table with, I like to give the example of the medical doctor, because when medical doctors are talking about medical issues, you're usually lost if you're not a doctor. So they're coming up with all sorts of medical terms and medical names and all sorts of situations. And you're at the table and you're listening to all these googly gag about medical terms and you're totally confused. What on earth are these people talking about? How do you participate in that discussion? So that you don't just look lost? And some people are not sensitive. They won't change the topic or the subject. They will just go on and on. So how do you participate? First and foremost, you need to listen to the conversation before speaking. Listen first. So far as they're speaking English, you will understand 1 or 2 things about what they're saying, even if you don't understand the technical terms. Then learn to facilitate rather than contribute. So you're listening to this conversation and they've gone on and on about, and I'm trying to think of an example now. They've gone on and on about a sphygmanometer, for example. What is a sphygmanometer? And they're talking about somebody took the spig and somebody did this and somebody did that and something happened to that person and whatever. So listen to the conversation and then learn to facilitate rather than contribute. And how do we do that? We ask questions about the subject matter and seek to learn. So they're talking about this sphygmanometer. So after they've discussed and talked, you could say, oh, this is quite interesting. Although I'm not a medical doctor, I don't really understand what you gentlemen are saying. But however, what exactly is a sphygmanometer, you know? And I'm sure they will be glad to educate you. So don't be afraid to show your ignorance in the matter and ask them to educate you more. So you've asked them, what is this sphygmanometer? And they'll say, oh, a sphygmanometer is what we use to measure blood pressure. Oh, fantastic. I think that's what it is anyway. It's used to measure the blood pressure. And then you can take the discussion from there. So how do you get noticed in a meeting? So this is very important for people that are in paid employment. And it's also useful for people if you're going to meetings such as the trade association or industry meetings. So for example, I go to an ICANN meeting and all the dons of the ICANN profession are there. So the president of ICANN is there and all the vice presidents, blah, 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 and the Otumbas and everybody, all the big people. And there's lots of FCAs, and I'm not yet an FCA. So all the FCAs are there, managing directors of companies are there, captains of industries are at this ICANN meeting. And, how do I get noticed? That will help me in my networking activities. How do I get noticed? So the first thing is, if it's a presentation or even if it's a meeting and they're discussing issues, listen carefully to the speaker throughout the sessions. That is not the time to play with your phone. It's not the time to be playing around on Instagram or chatting on Facebook. No. Listen carefully to the speaker and understand whatever the speaker is talking about. Make sure that you're able to craft one relevant question or make a relevant contribution at the end of the speaker's presentation. So listen to the speaker. Now, when the speaker has finished, right, you can now raise your hand to make a contribution or ask a question. And one thing that helps a lot is referring the speaker to something specific he or she has said during his presentation. So I've just given a presentation on networking, and you are at this meeting and you want to at least you want to be seen. So you raise your hand and you say, "Oh, Lady Shayo, thank you so much for your presentation. You mentioned when you were discussing how to start a conversation with people that are discussing on a topic you don't understand. You mentioned that we should facilitate rather than we should facilitate the conversation and ask questions, and that we shouldn't hide our ignorance. Can you shed more light on that?" That's all. And yes, I'll be happy that you've listened to what I said. I'll be happy that you are paying attention, and I would be glad to shed more light on it. So that's just a very simple thing. So you just pick up something specific and say, "Can you shed more light?" Simple. And you take your seat. Or you can ask a question, relevant question. So that's one way of, making yourself visible. Now, if you're in such a meeting or a group, like I gave the example about maybe an ICANN meeting or a meeting of your professional body, for example, where you have a lot of people who do not know who you are. Of course, before you ask your question, always make sure that you introduce yourself. "I am Lady Shayo and I do this." And then you go into your question. Simple. Don't ask too many questions. Don't become questionnaire, or they'll give you a nickname. It can be annoying. Every minute you're raising your hand, asking questions, because at the end of the day, everybody will be like, "What's your problem? Notice me, always asking questions." No, one question is a very relevant one is okay. You don't need to do more than one. And then always remember to seize the opportunity. Don't remain silent. Make sure you are visible. Follow up during the breakout sessions with discussions that center around the question you asked. So you've been at this ICANN meeting. You have asked Lady Shayo to expatiate further on participating in a conversation on a topic that you don't understand. Now, during the break, be bold to approach the speaker. Be bold to approach the VIPs in the room. And you can expatiate further on the question you asked. So if you're approaching the speaker and you can say, "Oh, thank you for explaining further on that issue. I had an experience on so day where I was talking to some medical doctors and I was completely lost. Now that I have this new information, I'm not going to have that unpleasant experience again." You just take up your discussion from the question you asked. How do you take up that same discussion with maybe other VIPs who are not the speaker? Same thing. So you meet maybe the president of ICANN and you say, "Oh, good afternoon, sir. The session has been very interesting so far. In fact, I like what the speaker said about participating in a discussion on a topic that you don't understand. So what would be your thoughts on that issue? Or what further advice can you give me?" "Oh, fantastic. And then you take it from there. So those are some of the ways you can get noticed and strike up conversations at such big meetings. Like I said, don't be afraid to talk to the VIPs in the meeting. What I notice is that where I get to such meetings, everybody shies away from the VIPs. Everybody cowers back. I don't know why. People feel that, oh, I'm too small to talk to the president of VICAN or the MD of Zenith Bank. You know, people tend to shy away and everybody moves back. I don't know why. But my personal experience is that those are the people that I go for. And, you know, you're taking lunch or you're taking your tea break and just join the line and make sure you stay closer to them and you're having this discussion. So if it's lunch and they say, have your seat, you don't have to be forward. Of course, maybe there's a particular table that has been reserved for the VIP. So at the point where he wants to go off to his table, you say, thank you so much, sir, for your time. Let me allow you to enjoy your lunch. And you take a step back. There's a 50-50 chance that he might say, please join me for lunch. Your day is made because you're already having this discussion. So you say, oh, no, please join me. And you follow and join and sit down with them. And before you finish that meeting, or maybe at the end of lunch, you can use the opportunity to collect all their cards and give them your own. So that is an opportunity. Don't miss it. It comes rarely, but when it comes, always seize the moment. And remember to be extremely polite throughout the time you have with them. So this is an assignment. Your boss has just received some businessmen from Greenland, Norway, to Nigeria for discussions on a business merger, and he has invited them to dinner at his house. You have also been invited along with other members of the management team. You find yourself seated next to one of the visitors' wives. How would you strike up a conversation with her? So how are you going to network with the wife of one of the businessmen from Greenland, Norway, a very strange place? What do you know about Greenland? So what kind of conversation are you going to have with this woman? You know, complete stranger, you don't even know the field or profession she's in. What kind of conversation are you going to have with her? I'd like you to write it down in your notebook if you're watching this video. And for those that are in the class, please put your responses on the group chat. And that is the end of module 6. And we'll go on to module 7, connecting on social media.